Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler for Melda Production, and today I'm going to show you how to make that kind of FM growl bass that was popular a few years ago. So there's lots of different ways to do this. Nowadays, lots of people are using wavetables, but originally this was done using FM, so I thought I'd show you how to do this using FM synthesis in MSoundfactory. So let's get started. So first, I just have a blank project. I turned the attack down a bit, but that's about it. Now I'm going to go into the generator here, and I'm going to use the FM module. Okay, now you can just pop this out so it's a little bit bigger. At first, I was thinking like, I didn't really like this, how, it had all these and you had to choose how many operators you want. But for this, it's actually really useful because having too many kind of makes things confusing. But let's just set this to 3. Now we have 3 oscillators, and that's all we need. Now if we play it, it's just a sine wave, but we actually don't need these two. The third one is just going to be the output, so let's turn down the other 2. Okay. Now, for this, let's actually pop out an analyzer too, just so you can actually see what's happening frequency-wise. So I actually learned a lot from Seamless's channel. If you haven't checked him out, check it out. It's Seamless with an R, and he goes over how to make these types of things. But basically, the idea is you take one oscillator here and modulate it by another, but one of the second one needs to be modulated by a third one, and that one needs to be in the range of the human voice, so the formant region, so around the high mids. So if I just do one and modulate it like this, you can see it's moving here, but it really needs to be like around here. And so far it's not doing it, but if we just leave this up so you can see all the harmonics. So that's 2 going to 3, but now let's have number 1 go into 2. Now, let's do this. We see how low that is? That's not really in the formant region. So what we're going to do is actually adjust the ratio like this. So I usually find around like 15 to 1 and up is good. Let's try that, around 15. Okay, now let's modulate this. Now that, you can hear it sounds like a vowel. And if we move it up even more, let's try like 24 or so. Even more, let's try 32. And we can go all the way to 64. 64 is probably a bit too much, but you can hear it. Okay. So you can see that's basically how you do it. Adjusting the ratio here of the first operator. The way I think of it is that's adjusting the formant. So let's set it around, I guess, like 20. Let's hear how this sounds. And it's usually hooked up to like the mod wheel or something. So we'll just modulate that, turn this all the way up. And this one is set to 12. Let's move this down. Set the depth to around 12 or so. 11, that's okay. Now when we use the mod wheel, it'll go up. Okay, so from here we have everything. I have just a MIDI clip here so we can play this and loop it. So you can hear that monster growl sound. So that's the basic theory. And so I think of this ratio here of the first operator. This is kind of like our formant, and if we move it, you'll hear different sounds. If you have it low, around like 15, it'll sound like, like a big man with a bassy voice. You move it up, it sounds kind of like a child, like Mickey Mousing. Okay, so we had that basic idea going. To move the depth here, or the amount of F or operator 1 going to operator 2, this is like the intensity. Okay. And one more thing we can actually mess with. Actually, there's lots of things you can mess with. But one thing I want to show you is changing the actual timbre of it can be changed by using operator 2. So now we have a ratio of 1 to 1, like this. But let's say we change this to 1.5 to 1, like this. Let's try 2 to 1. Yeah. Don't really like that one that much, but it's all right. Actually, move this to 16, I guess. Let's try 2.5 to 1, like this. I like that one. Let's try 3 to 1. That one's okay. I think 4 to 1 is probably about the most you're going to get out of it. Try the different ratios. With this, sometimes it's okay and you can do these like decimal values, and other times intervals work better. Sorry, not intervals, integers work better. But you know, just kind of mess with that and see which one sounds better to you. So I don't want to spend too long on this, but I've been working on a device made just to do this. So I have everything here, just like the intensity, just like I showed you before. So it should sound almost exactly the same. Only thing I did is I added a high pass filter here, like this, to get a little bit more out of it. I think this one's not quite as loud as the other one. I also added a glide, so now you can do some other cool things. And also you can adjust the sub level or the type of sub, like a sine or triangle or a sine minus an octave, etc. And one other thing I should say, this timbre, I had it set like this. Oh, I should say, I showed all the ratios. I didn't show this one. The deep one is just a negative, or say a 0.5 ratio, which you can do in MSoundfactory, which is cool. See, I can do 0.5. It's maybe too deep for the sound, but you get the idea. And another thing is the width control. So I like that if you wanted to make it sound a little bit wider, like this. So that's the basic idea. From there, you can do other things, like I could drive it more to bring out some distortion. Other things I could do, I could modulate it, put some chorus in here. Actually, have a limiter on here in case this gets too loud. So do that, put some chorus on there. I could put some multi-band compression. You probably want to use some EQ, etc. I'm not done with this, so I'll see what other things I'll add to it. But I just wanted to show you the basic idea of how you can make these FM growl sounds, and you can, you know, add more to it if you want. You could use more operators, but I think that's the basic idea, and you can go from there. You can even try some different waveforms if you want. But I hope this helps you out. If it did, give me a thumbs up, leave me a message down below if there's a question you want to ask, and check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Till next time, see you.